Is everyone good to go? Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. I have with me today our Criminal Justice Commissioner for the Mayor's Office, Commissioner Tanisha Stevens, on behalf of our Honorable Mayor, Mayor Latoya Cantrell, as well as our Chief Deputy Superintendent over Field Operations, Chief John Thomas. So let me start by thanking you for being here this afternoon. And I want to assure our citizens, our community, that the New Orleans Police Department continues to be recognized as a model agency of reform as well as constitutional policing. This is something that we are committed to doing, just as we are committed to improving our agency and our services. This year, we know and acknowledge that homicides are up over 60% in the city of New Orleans. Non-fatal shootings are up 40% so far this year. However, armed robberies are down by approximately 5%. Though not conclusive, at least one study suggests that the increase in violent crime is a nationwide problem. We have seen that. It might even correlate it to a spike in COVID-19 cases, as well as civil unrest due to police misconduct or police violence. The National Commission on COVID-19 and Criminal Justice recently released a study on violent crime. 27 cities across the United States have been examined, not including New Orleans, and it was determined that homicides are up approximately 53% between June and August of 2020. Aggravated assaults are up at least 14%. And this is across the country. Here in New Orleans, we have made several arrests in homicide, armed robberies, as well as non-fatal shootings within the last few weeks, if not even longer. But we see these crimes as an opportunity, crime trends as an opportunity to take a different look at policing in itself. So today, I am announcing that the New Orleans Police Department will be dissolving the Tactical Intelligence Gathering and Enforcement Response Unit, better known as TIGER. Not to take anything away from this unit, they have been very successful in our reduction in armed robbery, and that is the reason that it was formed, for armed robbery. This past spring, Chief John Thomas took over the Field Operations Bureau, and he and his team started working on restructuring that particular bureau. The result is the creation of the new unit called Violent Crime Abatement Investigative Team. Violent Crime Abatement Investigation Team, also called VCAT. The goal is to reduce overall violent crime throughout the city of New Orleans in armed robberies, shootings, as well as any firearm violation. And this will be driven by intelligence that we have gathered, as well as mission-led investigations. Again, this is an investigative unit. I've personally been in contact with the leadership at the FBI, as well as the Louisiana State Police, for their support in this particular initiative, and both have agreed to expand upon our collaboration together. So they will be working directly with this VCAT unit. Our law enforcement partners at every level remain consistent and supportive of not only the New Orleans Police Department, but the city of New Orleans in its entirety. Both the FBI and the state police bring powerful assets to the table. The FBI brings a nationwide intelligence to determine if local crimes have any national connections. Enhanced federal sentencing guidelines can be applied in cases where local crimes may have violated federal law, thereby promoting or prompting longer sentences for violent offenders. The Louisiana State Police will give us more resources throughout the state. This will maximize our efforts to fight violent crime by analyzing data and other intelligence from a variety of sources. This will be a force multiplier that will, in another way, strengthen our relationship with our federal and state partners to be more effective and efficient in fighting violent crime. The team will investigate crime to discover how they may be linked to larger criminal activities and criminal enterprises. Linking these crimes will disrupt persistent criminal activity and help dismantle criminal networks from the bottom up. Also, I am announcing today that the district-based task forces are suspended indefinitely. I've created a new assignment or responsibility within our 3 district platoons. This new assignment will be the District Community Action Team, or DCAT. And do not be mistaken, this is not a substitute for a task force. This is not a new task force unit. We're not going into any type of task force units in our districts whatsoever. DCAT will consist of 2 officers who are assigned to a platoon and every shift, who will be responsible for addressing either crime trends identified within that shift or concerns from the community within that shift. They will be given specific instructions by their immediate supervisor under the direction of their commanding officer. DCAT will develop community partnerships and continue to perform constitutional policing while attempting to suppress crime. What this also means is that we would need greater support and partnership from you, the community. If you see something, I've said this numerous times, you see something, if you hear something, please say something. Today is not about announcing a plan. Today is about a call to action for all of us to do what we can to control the violent crime that we see in the city of New Orleans. And the only way we can be successful is with total community engagement and with total community partnership. With the creation of VCAT and the dissolution of Tiger in itself, we've also created a situational response team. Situational response team, or SRT as we will refer to it as, will be experienced supervisors and officers assigned to the Special Operations Division. This team will be responsible for conducting patrols and respond to areas where we identify violent crime trends throughout the city of New Orleans. SRT will be given specific missions and instructions by Chief Thomas as the field operations chief, based on data and intelligence that we have received. Despite these initiatives announced today, we recognize more can always be done, and that is why we are here today. We're expanding the scope of our investigatory and crime-fighting capabilities, which is expected to have a significant impact on violent crime. Policing, like anything else, must be changed. It must mature. We must always be looking for ways in which we can be more efficient or more effective in fighting crime. And today is an example of us trying to improve our way of fighting crime. I believe our community wants this. I believe our community deserves this. So to those who are committed to continue to involve themselves in violent criminal activities, just take this as a warning. Today is a new day. Today we have a larger umbrella with my state and federal partners in which we will be holding you, the criminals or violent offenders, accountable for your actions. With that being said, I will answer any questions that you may have. Ken?
What was the main decision to disband the Tiger unit, and will any of those officers or personnel carry into these new units? And if you could also explain how will this new unit and new force compare to the former multi-agency gang unit? I believe that went away a few years ago.
Yes.
And kind of explain why that went away as well, and how the decision to kind of dismantle.
So the decision is improvement. That's what it comes down to. I mean, Tiger was formulated to investigate armed robberies. when it was formed initially. And granted, they were asked to do more outside of the scope of those armed robbery investigations, and they did do more, and they did a great job. But now this is a collective effort, looking at everything from homicide to non-fatal shooting to armed robberies to any firearm violations in itself is what we're looking at. So that is our reason, and then this is an opportunity to expand upon our partnership with our federal and state partners, similar to what we had with MAG. I cannot explain to you or tell you why MAG was dismantled because I was not a part of that decision process, but I can tell you what I have received from our FBI SAC since he's taken over this region, as well as Colonel Reed's a commitment to help New Orleans Police Department in any which way that they can. And this plan that was formulated by Chief Thomas and myself is a part of what we're trying to bring together to help resolve our violent crime issues.
WGNO? Channel 4?
Yeah, I was having trouble keeping up with all your acronyms, but you got
Yeah,
the
I know, there's a
VCAT,
lot. VCAT, DCAT, SRT.
SRT, and obviously, you know, and now task forces
Mhm.
now disbanded permanently. Are any of these district-based, you know, keeping that district focus, or are these department and citywide?
So let me answer this first and foremost. I need to answer this question.
Yes.
I just thought about you asked something.
Sure.
I didn't answer. You asked were any of these members of the Tiger Union going to be a part of this new union? Some are, some aren't. But you will have some that will still be a part of some of these new unions, and some will not. This is just a part of change in itself.
Thank you.
To answer your question, so this would not be like this DCAT, District Community Action Team, will be because these are officers assigned to the platoon. This is not a specialized unit. It is a special assignment within the
Right,
platoon.
they're already on the platoon.
They're already in the platoon. That's the only thing that's district based. VCAT, Violent Crime Abatement Team, as well as the Situational Response Team, are all under our Special Operations Division, just as Tiger was. This does not change the manpower within Special Operations, anything. It's just a rearrangement and giving more clear and concise instructions and missions to these individual officers and groups.
I always thought that, just to follow up real quick, if I could, that, you know, the district task forces were created with sort of community policing in mind. They are a district comp staff, they could know the trends within one district. Now you're taking, you know, making a situational response team that's citywide. How do you continue with that, you know, deep knowledge of, that an officer has for a district that you have with task force?
So we have had, every week, we have a weekly meeting, violent crime meeting, in which all of our commanding officers as well as their second in charges meet and discuss what are the crime trends, what are the concerns. And they are just as much a part of this, or they will be just as much a part of these meetings as any other meeting. So, and again, that is why SRT will be receiving their missions and their instructions from the Chief of Operations, who is over all the districts. Therefore, he will be able to ensure that communication is there, and he see on a daily basis what the crime trends are. So, as such, he is able to dictate to them and give them the instructions that are needed and the mission that is needed to be done.
Advocate?
Yeah, Chief, we saw in the Federal Monitor's report earlier this year a good deal of criticism of the district-based task forces. And now today you announced you're dissolving Tiger as well. Have you received criticism about Tiger from the Federal Monitor?
We have not, but again, a part of our supervision initiative team is what we're doing is we're looking at all of our close and effective supervision. And that is part of the reasons to why I suspended district-based task force indefinitely, because we need to ensure that we have close and effective supervision in an adequate way. I will say this, some of our district-based task force supervisors were excellent. Some just did not meet the challenge. And this is an opportunity, a learning opportunity for us all to groom them and teach them and get them to the level in which we need them to be so we can be more effective for the citizens of New Orleans.
Fontaine?
Chief, you mentioned with the DCAT, the District Community Action Team,
Yes.
that one of their responsibilities would be to develop community partnerships.
Yes.
So will the VCAT team be working with the DCAT team for those real specific things in those districts? I mean, how intertwined will they be?
So DCAT is really working with the district in itself. This is about, we used to have the non-pack meetings every month in which the captains of every district would meet with the community and explain what the trends are that they have identified within their district, but also hear the concerns of that community. So we're gonna take that information, that same information for the DCAT, and be able to deploy our DCAT officers to specific areas within the district itself. VCAT is an investigative unit. We may have long-term investigations, we don't know, but this is all about violence. And they will be intertwined with homicide, they will be intertwined with our district captains and district investigative units as well.
Rosen?
Okay, so, when some citizen sees, say, persistent open-air drug dealing, who is going to investigate that?
So we have a number of ways in which we can investigate that.
And I just say that as a preface, I've talked to some people who said that they called or seen officers
Mhm.
and have been told, well, I just respond to calls, I can't really do anything. So it seems like there's a little bit of a gap. I'm just wondering who picks that up and
It
investigates.
sounds like there's a poor communication or poor effort on that officer who said that. It is every one of our responsibility to investigate anything that's brought to our attention. So I would put that on that officer, the onus on that officer for failing to do his or her job. So anyone can investigate narcotics. DCAT, the platoons, as well as we have a major narcotics unit, as well as we have special operations. So any officer, when something is brought to their attention, they should be addressing it. And if they cannot address it, they should be bringing it to someone that can.
Aubrey?
What was some of the reasons why part of the Tiger unit members weren't brought over? Because I think you said a few.
It's just evaluation of our team. I mean, that is with anything, Look at the NFL, look at the NBA. You're gonna evaluate what you have. Maybe some players will be carried to the next season. And then unfortunately, that's how I can kind of analyze that for you. Some players just aren't being carried to the next season. This is the new season, and we're going in a different direction, and we're going with what we think will be best for us in the direction in which we are going.
Last question?
Chief, the monitors recommended an expanded vetting for task force units in their report. Do any of these new units you're announcing today come with an expanded vetting process?
They're not task force.
Okay.
So there's no reason to expand it because these are investigators. That's why I was clear when I said it and I reiterated and I made sure that everyone understands this is an investigative team. VCAT is an investigative team. DCAT is not, I'm not going to say just because they are officers. They are officers assigned to the platoon. It could be you and I tomorrow. It could be the commissioner and the chief Thomas on the next day. It varies from day to day who will be assigned to that responsibility of that assignment for that day. And that's all to it. I mean, special response team, our situational response team, SRT is a part of our special operations division. None of these are task force.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.